We have the battle between Grandmaster Gukesh and MVL at the Global Chess League. And here we see the chief guest making the first move, h4, and his opponent playing a5. Gukesh representing the PBG Alaskan Knights and MVL representing the Upgrad Mumba Masters. And this will be a huge clash. The players take back their pawns. They're like, no, we don't want to play h4 and a5 here. And you can see there Gukesh and his team, PBG Alaskan Knights, have had a very difficult tournament until now. 3 rounds have been completed and they have lost all 3. And Gukesh himself has lost 2 games with 1 draw. And he is looking to lead from the front for his team to be able to score in this one. Meanwhile, MVL playing for the Upgrad Mumba Masters, they've been doing quite well here. And the game has begun. Gukesh opens with pawn to c4. MVL plays e6. Knight comes out to c3. Pawn to d5. We have the Queen's Gambit declined on the board. Knight f6. C takes d5. E takes d5. Opening up the bishop here. Bishop g5 pinning the knight. Bishop e7. Breaking the pin here. And e3 to get the bishop out. h6. A question is asked and Gukesh brings back the bishop on this diagonal. Pawn to c5 played, gaining space on the queen side, and that's a very it's not played often. Knight comes out to c6 and now bishop to b5, pinning the knight here. Castles and white castles here. Now thinking about what to do. Black plays bishop to e6 and we have pawn takes pawn, bishop takes, and rook comes to c1, putting pressure on the bishop here. Rook to c8. And how should white continue here is the question. The move queen a4 is perhaps slightly misplaced. Much better way to play is perhaps h3, queen d3, or even this move bishop e2. Bishop d3 or bishop e2 could be interesting. But queen a4 and now queen b6, a very nice move by MVL. He's trying to put pressure here, and imagine the tactics. If knight e5, I take, and bishop e3, boom. It's a very powerful move that's possible. By the way, in the game, rook fd1, rook fd8 played, and now knight goes to e2, trying to take control of the d4 square. The black knight comes into e4, putting pressure on f2. g5 is coming in. You have h3 played, and now g5 attacking the bishop, and the bishop, well, has to go back. If you go back to h2, then bishop e3 already leads to a huge attack. So bishop g3, bishop e7, and knight d4 played, and knight takes d4, knight takes d4 played. And he takes, f takes g3, black goes with the bishop to f6. Now already it feels like black is better here because white's structure is a bit mangled up. Gukesh takes on c8, rook takes c8 and brings his bishop back to d3. The queen is protecting the d4 point. The bishop is nicely positioned here. Takes, queen takes on d4, queen takes d4, e takes d4 taken, and now black plays king f8. You have pawn to g4, king e7, and king comes up to f2. The king moves up to d6, king e3 and pawn to a5. Gukesh, well, he can maybe try to get his king to d2. He goes rook f1, king e7 played, and this position somehow looks about equal. I wonder if MVL is the one trying for something here. Rook f3, rook c7, and the bishop goes to a6. He attacks the bishop comes back to e2, ready to move the rook to c3 to trade it off. Bishop b5 and now the rook goes back to c8. Pawn to a4 and king comes up to d6. Rook to f6, rook h8, and you come back. Black goes rook c8. Rook to f3. The rook comes back. They are repeating, and it's a threefold repetition. MVL calls the arbiter. They pause the clock, and this has been quite a good result. The arbiter asks, both of you agree? Yes. They shake hands. A draw between the PBG Alaskan Knights and the Upgrad Mumba Masters on the icon board. But this was perhaps the only good result for them. There was one more draw that happened on board 3 between Mamedyarov and Dominguez, but rest all the games were won by the Upgrad Mumba Masters, resulting in a dominating victory.